What's going on, Jerome's? Made it to a Friday. We got a beautiful weekend set up, almost as beautiful as this shirt. Not gonna lie. So we have a bunch of things to get to. Friday news dump, starting off with injury recap. So James Lynch reported that he has a torn ACL, needs surgery. He's out for the season. It's an unfortunate hit to the Vikings' defensive line depth. Also, Andre Carter II still on the PUP list, undisclosed. Chris Reed on the NFI non-football injury list. Neither of them have been activated, but they can be activated at any point. And then running back Alexander Madison got dinged up in the first pad of practice on Monday. He was in the walkthrough, and then he returned Thursday in full, so it's good to see. King Kene and Wangu was dinged up in a pad of practice earlier in this week and has missed since then. He is undisclosed. Jalen Naylor. Man, you feel bad for Jalen Naylor. So he looked really, really good the first practice, but then Kevin O'Connell says he has a lower leg injury. He was hoping that Naylor will be back this week, but he's been out ever since. And other receivers are starting to rise up a little bit, so... Yeah. Offensive tackle Vidarian Lowe got dinged up at last Saturday's practice on July 29th, has been out since, and the Vikings have made a number of offensive tackle roster moves, so it could be a sign that that's something. Edge rusher Marcus Davenport, he's been in individual drills but has been off of team drills. He missed all of the night practice on Thursday, so and it's really unfortunate, especially with a guy that has a history of injuries, so... Speaking of history of injuries, so cornerback Andrew Booth Jr., it's really unfortunate, man. Undisclosed injury, walked off of the field on August 1st, and TBD there. And also the fact that the Vikings were looking at some veteran cornerback help. Might not be a good sign. Tristan Jackson, who was having himself a great camp back on August 1st, he had a knee injury, was carted off, but thankfully did not have any ligament issues, and the timeline is pretty hopeful that he'll be back sooner rather than later. A couple signings for the Vikings. So they announced that they signed tackle Christian DeLauro and Jared Williams, and the team has terminated the contract of Bobby Evans. Now, usually, I feel like on social media, they like to use the softest language possible, like we have moved on, or we have released or waived Bobby Evans, but terminated the contract, it's kind of rough. So Evans was on the Vikings practice squad at the end of last year, the pride of Oklahoma, was formerly with the Rams, with Kevin O'Connell and Wes Phillips, and then they brought him back like a week ago, and now... deuces. He even filled in for some second-team reps at right guard. But tackle Christian DeLauro, 28 years young. He's a 2018 UDFA out of Illinois. Has bounced around with 6 different NFL teams. Jared Williams is 26, 2022 Miami, UDFA from Miami. That's the UB and the U. He's bounced around from the Eagles, the Lions, the Steelers, back to the Eagles, etc. And also, we did a video on him earlier, but the Vikings signed running back Abram Smith, formerly of the Baylor Bears, as well as the Saints and the XFL DC Defenders. He led the XFL in rushing last year, and he's a big, powerful running back, man. So something to look for this camp coming up. And we mentioned the Vikings were looking at some cornerback depth. Ben Gessling, go. The Vikings worked out veteran cornerback Ronald Darby today. Darby tore his ACL with the Broncos last October. If he's healthy, he could be an option to add a veteran presence to the secondary at some point. And like we said, I mean, the secondary, it's pretty damn solid, and guys are really competing out there. But Andrew Booth Jr.'s potential injury, could be a sign that that's serious in that regard. But Darby would fit in nicely in this veteran room. Not so veteran room, rather, where the elder statesman is Byron Murphy Jr., who's only in his 5th season. But Darby is 29, 2015 second-round pick from Florida State. He was actually Xavier Rhodes' backup when he first got to Tallahassee. It's awesome, man. Played 2 years for the Bills, then with the Eagles. Yes, we remember him from that 38-7 game. Also with the Commies, and then the last 2 years with the Broncos. And he would be a solid addition at this point of training camp. Also a solid addition, the Chicago Bears. We said that the crooked Chicago Bears needed some edge help, and they got it. Rap sheet go. The Bears are signing former Colts star pass rusher Yannick, the Freak Ngakoue, to a 1-year, $10.5 million deal, sources say, giving them a weapon off the edge they've been seeking. Ngakoue has never played for Eberflus, the IKEA toilet, but he's played in his system before. It should be seamless. And Eberflus' system doesn't stop the run, so he should be good to go. But yeah, Yannick, former Minnesota Viking, he traded for him before the 2020 season after Danilo had the herniated disc in his neck, and he had 5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles in 6 games. But after the season, the Viking season was FUBAR. They traded him to the Ravens, and he's bounced around from the Ravens, the Raiders, the Colts, and now the Bears in the last couple of years. He's had 6 teams in 4 seasons, which is kind of amazing considering he is super talented. He's only 28. It feels like he's been on more teams than Brandon Cooks, but no. And it's funny, Yannick said that he wanted a long-term deal with a championship contender, and then he signs a 1-year deal with the Bears. It's funny, man. Also kind of funny. So the Detroit Free Press is reporting that the Lions 2023 season tickets sell out for the first time in Ford Field history. Now, that's kind of amazing. And I'm not putting this out there just to rub salt in the wounds for Lions fans, because I actually feel for them. I'm glad that they're getting a little bit of hype this year. It's going to be a good matchup. But if you come for the king, you better not miss. But, I mean, the Lions have been in Ford Field since 2002, and, they never sold out their season tickets. What about when Stafford got there in, 2009? Or what about when Megatron was there? So you're telling me that with a Hall of Fame wide receiver in Megatron and Stafford, you couldn't, and then Ndamukong Suh was in there, you couldn't sell out your season tickets? It took Dan Campbell and Jared Goff to do that? I don't know, man. I don't know. Speaking of I don't know, so last night, Hall of Fame game, action, baby. That's right. My Browns won. Cool. But Kellen Mond got the start. Played for the first half before giving way to DTR, but we could have used DTR. But Kellen Mond, hilarious play of the night. So he threw a pretty bad interception to Chaz Surratt. Now, if the name sounds familiar, Mond was a 2021 third-round pick, number 66 overall by the Vikings. Chaz Surratt was a quarterback converted to linebacker who was also taken in the third round 2021, but at pick 78 overall. So, the Vikings to Vikings connection going on there somewhere. Pretty Ricky Spielman is smiling. And then lastly, I would smile if I get this hat. So a lot has been made about this specific hat that Kevin O'Connell's been wearing. It's a new era hat. I believe it's fitted, but of course he doesn't have the flat bill because Kevin O'Connell is a grown adult. And also it's got the old Vikings helmet, with the 2 bars, looking good like the Joe Cap style. Let's go. And a lot has been made about this hat on social media, and a lot of people want this hat. I would love to get this hat, and if they don't put this hat on the team store, we ride. Now, they have similar ones that feature the old school logo, but these are not that. Also, they have a yellow, I think 47 slouch hat, but yeah. But no, we need the real deal. We need the real McCoy. We need this hat in the store. Stat. That is all. That's hat podcast coming up very soon. We got a ton of hats, man. But that's it. That is your Friday Vikings news dump. Have yourself a fantastic weekend, Jerome's, and then we'll get back after it. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. If you want to support the work, put a little something in the Venmo. It's Friday, after all, man. Come on. But until next time, Skol, production value.